Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us on News at Prime. Now, Gauteng MEC for Public Transport and Roads Infrastructure, Jacob Mamabolo, delivered the department's budget vote at the Gauteng Legislature. He shared the department's plans and programs that will help grow the province's economic growth and recovery with an allocation of 8.71 billion rand budget for his department. MEC Mamabolo joins us to make sense of his budget. A very good evening to you, MEC. Thank you for your time. As you began your budget vote, you spoke about, or perhaps reflected on the death of former Mayor Mamabolo as well as Joledi Matongo. Let's talk a little bit about that, as of course it relates to roads and road behavior and the condition of our roads.
Well, firstly, good evening to you, to all the viewers, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Yes, indeed, today we outlined our priorities in a debate that we had on the budget. And the very starting point were firstly, of course, the conditions of our road. And let me just, at this moment, convey our condolences to the family, comrades and friends of Comrade Mamabolo, former mayor of the city of Joburg. And the point we were trying to make was that every day on our roads, people lose their lives. Our roads are notorious globally for people losing their lives, and the statistics paint a picture that is really deeply concerning. And I would like to, as I did during the budget speech, make a call and appeal to the people of the province, and of course those that come into our province, given that we are a custodian of all high-capacity roads interact in our province, almost all of them, that it is important for people to appreciate that road safety, saving lives of people on the road is essentially in our hands. And we are therefore required to observe the loss of the road and to ensure that our culture of driving is sensitive and is deeply appreciative of the importance of human life. And that's the point that we're really seeking to make, that whilst there are many factors that contribute to fatalities on the road, but human conduct, human behavior, human attitudes remains one of the deeply concerning factors.
Now, 8.71 billion rand has been set aside. I suppose Gauteng commuters and residents want to know how this budget will help alleviate some of the problems they're facing, especially as we now consider and know that more and more households are using large sums of their money on transport.
Yes, let me just confirm that actually the data and information that we have from the household travel survey that we did and the information released by Statistics South Africa point out to the fact that people are essentially spending most of their household income on the road. Small businesses, micro, medium enterprises, people, you know, the biggest cost factor for most of the people is the cost of travel. That is why one of the issues I raised in the House was that we really need national government to respond positively to our principled, profound call for the scrapping of the e-tolls, because we believe this is having a devastating impact on the living conditions of the people and the cost of life. You can see people coming out of COVID-19, it was difficult. The rate inflation is high, and interest rates have been raised quite substantially, and frequently the cost of petrol. So to that extent, we believe that these costs are just making it worse for the residents of Gauteng, who exclusively and only them have to bear the burden of paying the e-tolls. The other issue we raised is the fact that transport and most importantly, two issues: transport infrastructure and freight could be repositioned to be the catalyst for economic development, creating jobs, fighting poverty, and giving people an income to live. And to this extent, we rolled out our priorities that we are going into partnerships with the private sector, considering that the fiscal environment and the revenue that is supposed to come into the public purse is very low. To that extent, if we're just to give you examples, in Midrand, at one of the fastest growing areas in our province, which is the Waterfall area, we are expanding the Allandale Road. And that road already, just one of the investors have said they are waiting for that road to be completed so that they can invest about 4 billion rands. Again, R101, which is one of the roads running parallel M1 South and North in Midrand. The contractor that is appointed is about to start in the next 2-3 weeks. They will be starting, they are on site, setting up. That road is going to be critical to ease congestion and movement and the difficulties on the M1 road. Thirdly, we're looking at ours last week at R21 in the Pomona area. We are looking at a road we call PWV 15, which is going to link R21 behind the airport at Atlas, cross N12, N17, go right straight to connect with N3. That road is going to ease congestion on the Bululis interchange, which we know is one of the highest areas of congestion in the province. We're looking at William Nicol at the Steyn City, Diepsloot area. The contractor is doing an excellent job. They're on site. We were there with the Premier during Tirisano 3 weeks ago. We have seen excellent work has been done. And there are also other multi-million partnerships like in Roslyn, where the private sector is putting the biggest automotive city. There they need a road, and to unlock massive billions of rands that they have, they just need a road. There's a project in the city of Tshwane called Rainbow Junction in and around Epis River next to Vonnerboom Airport. That project is sitting with 12 billion rands. They want us to build them a connecting bridge. So the point I'm making is, even with limited resources, but we're working very well in partnering with the private sector to unleash the full economic potential of the economy in the province. I've not even gone to other areas of freight and logistics, moving goods on to rail, things that we're doing in the province. But we are very, very excited about the investments we are making to make sure that we turn around the economy of our province as the leading economy in the country.
MEC, just yesterday, we learned, of course, perhaps this week, of 5 taxi drivers shot dead, 7 passengers injured in Joburg taxi wars, which is something that has been ongoing for decades and on end, fights over routes. What are you doing about it in terms of legislation? Because you have been interacting with the taxi industry for some time now.
Yes, let me just report to the viewers that yesterday at 2 o'clock, I met with the leaders of Wata and Nandue, following the killings that happened, which you have referred to, and may the soul of the departed rest in peace, and condolences to their families. We agreed yesterday that they must go back to operations. They were not operating yesterday. Today in the morning, the taxis were flowing, running, and there were no incidences of violence. But on a positive side and much more sustainable basis is that the Gauteng Provincial Legislature has passed just last week regulations, which means the law, that is going to help us put in place what we call the Provincial Public Transport Arbitration Office, because one of the biggest cause of death, killings in the taxi industry is the fight over the routes. And with the COVID-19 and depressed economy, low income streams for them, the violence is becoming serious. So now we are mandated by the provincial legislature to set up the arbitration office so that these disputes that they have over the routes will be seamlessly resolved, while at the same time law enforcement will be doing its work to bring the culprits to book. Criminal activity should be dealt with decisively by the law, but at the same time, we are very much pleased that we have a tool and an instrument in our hand, which we believe is going to dig deep into who actually was awarded which route, under what conditions, and it will bring clarity, it will bring consistency, and it will answer historic, difficult, complex questions, including those of corruption in the awarding of the route. So we will be unveiling the name of the arbitrator. I can say to the viewers, it's one of the retired judges who is a very experienced arbitrator, and we're quite confident that that remedy, that measure, that intervention will also play its part in reducing tax violence. I would like to appeal to the tax industry that they must respect human life. The country's constitution is founded on the fundamental principle of the significance and importance of human life. The tax industry must refrain from resolving their problems through the barrel of the gun. They must learn to appreciate peace. They must learn to appreciate stability.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, MEC. Your line not sounding so great. Gauteng MEC for Public Transport and Roads Infrastructure, Jacob Mamabolo, speaking to us there. Let's now